Hi, this is Sean Henricksen here from the Sean Henricksen Law Firm, where we help good people like you avoid the devastating consequences of criminal charges. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the statute of limitations and what that means and how that could affect your case. Before we get to that, I do want to make a little bit of an announcement. I've started a podcast. It's called What to Expect When You're Arrested in San Antonio. But if you're arrested outside of San Antonio, it'll probably help you too. If you've been charged with a crime or you're just wondering what the process is like, just go ahead and search your favorite podcast player for What to Expect When You're Arrested, or look down in the notes. There's a link down there, and that should take you to the podcast, and you can open it up in whatever podcast listener you use. Now, the statute of limitations is something that we've probably all heard about, but it's a little bit of a confusing subject. The statute of limitations is there to force the district attorney's office to file charges by a certain time. And if they don't, then it gives you the opportunity to have those charges dismissed. What we're looking for to see if the statute of limitations has already run on a case is whether your case has already been filed or in a felony if your case has been indicted. So on a misdemeanor, there's a document called the information that the district attorney's office will file in your case, and that's the document that's formally charging you with a crime. On a felony, it's a little bit different. The district attorney's office actually has to show to a grand jury that they've got enough evidence to charge you with a crime. Once your case is indicted, then that's when you're formally charged on a felony. That formal charge against you is what the district attorney's office has to get done before the statute of limitations runs. There are a lot of people that think that you have to be arrested before the statute of limitations runs. So if, for example, you were being charged with a crime but they never arrested you for a few years and it's past the statute of limitations, that you can get your case dismissed, or if you can just kind of keep from getting arrested, then your case may go away. But the statute of limitations isn't worried about when you're arrested. The only thing it's worried about is when you're formally charged with a crime. There are a couple of sets of rules about how long the statute of limitations is in any given case. There's the general amount for misdemeanors and felonies, and then there's also specific statute of limitations for certain crimes. I'm just going to focus on those general ones, so just know that there are certain crimes that have statute of limitations that differ from these. In a misdemeanor, the district attorney's office has 2 years in Texas to file that information formally charging you with a crime. If they don't, they've missed that deadline, and your case may get dismissed if they try to file it after that. On a felony, the length is just a little bit longer. It's 3 years on a felony that they've got to file to have your case indicted. If they don't get your case indicted within that 3 years, they may have missed the statute of limitations, and if they try having it indicted after that, then you may be able to get it dismissed at that point. There are some crimes, though, that don't have a statute of limitations at all. In Texas, for example, the crime of murder has no statute of limitations, so no matter how long ago the murder was, they could still try and indict your case and still charge you with that because there is no statute of limitations. In most cases, the statute of limitations isn't usually going to be that big of a deal because when you're arrested, you are usually either indicted, or if it's a misdemeanor, the information is filed relatively quickly on a case. And so in most cases, the statute of limitations isn't going to matter too much. But there are certain types of cases that are more likely to have issues with statute of limitations. And that's when the DA's office is waiting for some piece of information. So they've got the police report, they know that you've already been arrested, they're just waiting for those lab results to come back. So on a possession case, for example, they may be waiting for the lab results on those drugs for the weight and for them to confirm what the police believe those drugs to be. They may be waiting for those lab results to come back, and sometimes there can be a backup at the lab. And if either the lab makes a mistake and either doesn't test it or doesn't get those results back to the district attorney's office, or if the district attorney's office gets those results and just doesn't get them routed to the right prosecutor, or the prosecutor doesn't realize that those have come in, basically when somebody drops the ball, that's when there could be an issue on statute of limitations. The remedy, if the district attorney's office misses that statute of limitations, is for your case to get dismissed, but that doesn't happen automatically, and it doesn't prevent them from charging you on the case. They can still file the information on a misdemeanor, and they can still get an indictment on your felony case, even though the statute of limitations has run. But if they do, and if you're assuming that your attorney notices that the statute of limitations had run before they formally charged you on that case, then your attorney can point that out to the court in a motion to dismiss, and the judge should dismiss that case once your attorney shows the court that the statute of limitations has run on the case. I know that it sounds like this is something that's just not going to happen, and like I said, in most cases it's not going to be an issue. But just this week, I've had 2 cases where the district attorney's office didn't meet the statute of limitations. And in one of those cases, we've already gotten it dismissed. The other one, we're in the process of getting it dismissed. And so it definitely is an issue that does come up and that your attorney needs to know about. If you have any questions about anything I've said in this video, or if you're being charged with a crime in the San Antonio area, feel free to give me a call. My phone number is 210-942-4997, or you can click down in the link in the notes below, and there's a link there to schedule a free consultation. And again, I do have that podcast out. Just look for that link down below. I think that it's really helpful, especially if you're being charged with a crime, just to know more about what to expect, just to try and take some of that stress off of your back. And so if this video has been helpful to you, just hit that like button, and I'd appreciate the subscribe, and I hope you have a great day.